Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's Dina Kalmeta here and Susan Davis with Jesus 24/7. And today we are so excited to bring you end times news as it relates to Bible prophecy according to the last 7 days. And Susan, you've got a lot to talk about today with us, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think it might slow down, but no, it is not slowing down. In fact, I mean, the headlines are coming, across my desk, even right up to the point we do the show. So the biggest challenge is trying to fit all this into the time we have allotted to do this. Okay. That's our big challenge now. It has nothing to do with trying to figure out what will we talk about. It's like, how will we tell all this in this short period of time? But anyway, like you said, we cover 7 days of news from around the world that lines up with Bible prophecy. We do it every week, and we use multiple news sources, headlines, and YouTubes, and all kinds of things to see what's happening. And I have to tell you that it's shocking that some of this news that we cover is just incredible. And yet, the major news sources and the mainstream medias are not focusing on these things. It's shocking, don't you think, Dina?
It is very shocking, but they have an agenda. They
Well,
gotta
yeah.
fulfill their talking points that they're given. And so
Oh, yeah.
that's what we're seeing. And it's everything but Bible prophecy and what's really happening because some of these catastrophes, because that's what they're
Right.
catastrophes, are
Right.
killing hundreds of thousands of people every week.
Right. Like, okay, let's say
Or I
you
should say every month on the weekly basis, it's a tens of thousands, correct?
Well, what I'm saying is if you look at a standard online news page, okay, and they put the big stuff at the top and then the smaller stuff kind of tends to migrate to the bottom, okay? So let's say we're looking at the top news and we're seeing headlines like what is Taylor Swift doing this week and things of that nature. And then like right at the bottom in a little tiny box is, flooding here, 90,000 people displaced. And you're just going, I don't get it. I mean, there's no common sense here. That's why we are here, right? It's like,
That's right. That's what we're here for.
we're
That's why
here
God
to,
hired us.
yeah, we're here to point out what should be the obvious, but doesn't seem to be. So, anyway, well, let's go ahead and get started because we really got to. So, I'm just going to take a minute to talk about this for a grandmother in Pennsylvania. She steps out of her house to look for her cat. She disappears. They can't find her. Her grandchild's locked in a car nearby for several hours. I think it was like 5 hours. Well, I'm not sure. She was a little 5-year-old toddler, and they can't find grandma. Well, she got swallowed by a sinkhole that had just opened up next to her house. She's looking for the cat, and she goes into a hole, a
Oh,
deep
wow.
hole, and they couldn't find her. In fact, they say it was a 30-foot sinkhole, and they did finally, after days of searching, recover her body. She did not make it. So these
Oh, wow.
sinkholes, I know, I'm telling you, they're popping up all over the planet. And it's just incredible. But we cover that on our End Time Sinkhole page on Facebook. So if you are interested in this story and others, go on over there and check that out. We have talked about North Korea off and on and how they're supporting the Russian effort against Ukraine and things of that nature. But like one of the things we talk about is that it's the number one worst place on the planet to be a Christian. And it's like the number one location for Christian persecution, right?
It is number one. That's correct.
Okay, so I came across a list of things of the weird stuff that goes on in North Korea. So I'm just going to go through this just quickie list just to give you a perspective of what life is like in North Korea. International calls are illegal. Can't do that. You don't get to choose your job. The government chooses your job, and if you don't like that, they'll put you in hard labor camps. As far as where you live, the government decides where you live. Usually it's decided by, your connection through your family to people, at the top. Yeah, you could be punished for listening to foreign music. Can't do that. And they say it's punishable by long imprisonment, but actually, I've heard that people have been put before firing squads for listening to foreign music. Okay.
I've heard that too.
So it's worse than that, even. There's such a thing as generational punishments. So if somebody does something really bad, then the whole family suffers. Okay. It could be parents, siblings, children, even extended in laws will pay the price in labor camps. Like if someone manages to escape, those left behind will be arrested and suffer. So that's really a hard thing to imagine. Now, there's only 10 choices for men for hairstyles and 18 for women, and they have to stay within those choices. They have access to a web, but there's only 28 websites strictly monitored by the government. Okay, as far as religion goes, they cannot read the Bible. The country is officially atheist. There are churches present, but you can imagine that they're controlled by the government. Solo motherhood. Get this, when someone has a child, they're not allowed to see their husband or family for a week after they give birth.
That's
Are these are these some of the
terrible.
strangest? Yes. Oh, you can't disrespect the royal family. If you do, you could suffer jail time. A woman was in jail because she did not save a portrait of the president during a fire. So she suffered jail time. No American or Western holidays. No way. You can't do that. Oh, if a woman has triplets, they will take the three children away. The government will raise them for 4 years and return them after they reach the age of 4.
That's weird.
And only 1 in 100 people have access to a car, and it has to be government approved. And as far as tourism, they actually have fake places. When people come in, they don't actually see the real world. They get to go to a fake tourism place.
I've heard that.
Microwaves are illegal because of electrical shortages. Of course, the curriculum for children there is run by the government. The children are responsible, or families, to buy their own school furniture and chairs. They have to do chores. Like, you know how schools have janitors? Well, the kids have to be the janitors. Okay.
Child labor.
Right. And some government work too for these kids. And oh, no one can be called Kim, but Kim Jong Un. If you have the name Kim, you have to change it.
That's a man
They,
ego right there.
right. And they have to relinquish TVs, laptops, and iPhones are banned for citizens over there. They have compulsory military service, men for 10 years, women for 7 years. And of course, they play basketball because Kim Jong Un likes basketball. Isn't that crazy?
Like I said, it's all about him.
Pretty much, yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to let people know just how insane things are in North Korea. But there you have it. Okay, well, let's take a look at this. This news report is severe flooding has affected millions, claiming over at least 30 lives in Thailand and Malaysia. Now, I just want to say again that I question these figures for fatalities always. I'm just not sure these numbers are accurate at all, given the devastation. But anyway, they had approximately, now watch this, 85,000 people in Malaysia and 34,354 in Thailand seeking refuge in shelters due to widespread flooding. Now that's enormous, okay?
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that we're not seeing this on our usual news is just unbelievable. But yeah, this report just came out. And how about this figure? Over 38,000 hectares. Now, okay, that amounts to 93,900 acres of paddy fields in Malaysia's key rice producing regions have been destroyed, alongside significant infrastructure damage and disruptions to businesses. Okay, so now we're going to, mention the famine section that we always do, that we're heading towards famine. And over, we bring up things that point to famine, like a coming famine. And this is certainly an example of that, right, Dina?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, 93,000 acres of rice producing paddies. That's a lot of lost crop, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you figure rice is one of the main staples of people everywhere. I mean, in third world countries, rice is the go-to staple. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
And so when you see this happening, this is unbelievable. We're going to jump over from these countries to Indonesia, and they had a strong eruption at Bledug Kasango, and it's a mud volcano. Okay, this is really odd, but this thing is erupting, and it's a huge deal. It's erupting 65 feet into the air. Okay, if you figure like an average male is about 5'9", 65 feet. I mean, can you feature that?
It's huge.
Yeah, that's a lot of mud spewing into the air.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
That's very odd. Okay, by the way. And we're going to head over to India right now, see what's happening there. But oh, they had a compound wall of a temple collapse in Tamil Nadu after heavy rains hit. Okay, so this was also induced by Cyclone Fengal, which we've talked about, but this just happened. And then on top of it, now listen to this, 7 feared dead in a landslide due to continuous downpour. And they're in the Tamil Nadu area of India. They had a year's worth of rain in just 36 hours, Dina.
I can't even imagine that.
Right.
What did you tell us? What was it? 3 inches a day is normal?
Well, okay, average rainfall for people, like if you have a rain 2 inches and under, are a pretty good, healthy amount of rain. If you start to go over 2 inches and head into 3 inches, you're going to begin to be looking at flash flooding. So, this amount of rain within a 36-hour period, enough rain that they normally would get in a year's time, is going to be catastrophic. There's no way around it. Not to mention the fact that it's going to bring landslides because, of the region that they live in, the mountainous region, that much water pouring in. It's just going to be a problem. And the temple that was collapsed was a Hindu temple, by the way. I'll just mention that. So remember Nikki Haley, who was former presidential candidate?
Yes.
Well, and she was also an ambassador to the UN, but she has come out on social media condemning the Biden administration decision to give $1 billion to Africa, arguing that the United States is continuing to recover from hurricane season and seemingly unable to give any funding to its own country. And, they gave almost $1 billion to the Ukraine as well. So that's a couple billion going out to Africa and the Ukraine, while the people in North Carolina and surrounding areas are sitting there with practically nothing.
That is terrible.
Yeah. And well, and I mean, the area that they're helping is Angola, and they're having historic droughts. Okay. Absolutely terrible. But to just totally overlook that area of North Carolina is just, you just can't even imagine this. It's bizarre. And you know what? Okay, you say it's North Carolina. You know what? It's any state. Okay. I'm just saying, okay, it might be North Carolina, but it could be anyone in any state. It just happens to be North Carolina. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the whole thing got overlooked, and now they're focusing on everybody but any state USA, we'll call it. Okay. So not good. Not a good thing. Okay. India, again, we're back in India. They just had a 5.3 magnitude quake hit Telangana, epicenter in Warangal. They're saying no casualties, but still, that's kind of a big earthquake. We're having a lot of earthquakes, Dina.
Things are shaking.
Yeah. And here could be one of the reasons things are shaking. A public elementary school will begin offering a religious release program for students sponsored by the Satanic Temple, reportedly in response to a Christian program already established in the school system. Okay. So Hellion, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but Academy of Independent Learning begins this month at Edgewood Elementary School in Marysville, according to information from the Satanic Temple. Students can attend the program once a month during school hours, but off the school campus. This is one of their ongoing attacks. Anytime they see anything like this going on, where there is some sort of a Protestant or Christian program that kids can attend after school, then the satanic group comes in, the Satanic Temple, to, promote their viewpoint. And this time it's in Ohio. Okay. So that's really interesting, but ongoing. Okay. And they're trying to make a point. I don't think they really care about these children, but what do you say, Dina?
If they cared about them, they'd be telling them about Jesus.
Right.
Jesus never would have been kicked out of schools.
No, no, not at all. But because we're in that time of year, we've got a lake effect phenomenon currently sweeping across northeastern United States. And so, yeah, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and New York, all regions bordering the Great Lakes, got hit with lake effect. And, for anybody who hasn't been up in that area of the country or that part of the world, those Great Lakes, Dina, when you're up there, they're like oceans. Okay. It doesn't matter. They're actually called lake. When you're on one of those, it's like being on an ocean. Okay. They're pretty big. And so there can be a lot of cold winds coming in and creating a lot of problems. And that's what they're doing. They're bringing a lot of bad weather to the Northeast. Okay. Here's something interesting that took place with Russia. A Russian warship is fired at German helicopter over the Baltic Sea, sparking new World War III escalation fears. And the crew of the Russian ship fired signal ammunition, the German press agency in Brussels has learned, according to the German newspaper Bild. The warning shots were fired at the NATO reconnaissance aircraft. Okay, so more stuff going on, right, Dina?
Things are still tense, but I heard a rumor. I don't know how true it is, but I heard a rumor that there's a lot of talk about peace because Trump's going to be in office in a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does that mean? It
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
mean what you think it means. All right. So, if you are not familiar with scripture, it doesn't mean what you think peace, you're like, oh, all right, peace, everything's going to be okay. No, 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 no. Because the Bible says, go for it, Susan. What does the Bible say about peace and safety?
well, it says peace and safety. Everybody will say peace and safety, but there will be none. And sudden destruction will come on them like a woman in labor. And we are experiencing labor pains, by the
There you
way.
go. There you have it.
So, I mean, everything is just sort of lining up in a way. I mean, maybe not as fast as people would like, but it's looking like it's moving pretty fast to me. Okay. Well, I have said before as we do this program that sometimes it takes a little time to get news in from third world countries and other places. And so, but we do try to report on things as soon as the information arrives. And here's a report that's just now coming out. But there has been an unknown flu-like disease that claimed 143 lives in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This took place between November 10 and November 25th last month. And health officials were conducting investigations to identify the cause of the outbreak. Women and children are reportedly the most affected. Officials reported at least 67 deaths in Pansy Health Zone, and the local epidemiologists indicated that women and children constitute most of those affected, attributing heightened impact to weaker immune systems among vulnerable populations. And I mean, they really are vulnerable there in the DRC because this place, I'm telling you, the Congo, it just continually gets hit with some of the worst diseases. They've had all kinds of trouble with Ebola in that area, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
Oh, yeah, which is like the scourge of the earth, by the way. Just horrible things. They also had issues with the monkeypox epidemic And according to this report, monkeypox has affected over 47,000 individuals and caused more than 1,000 deaths. But I mean, we just don't know. These are just figures and we don't know. That's what they tell us. So there have been 12 recorded incidents in recent history of the Ebola disease breakout. I mean, we really need to pray for this part of the world that these kind of things can be stopped right there on their soil, right, Dina?
Amen. That's right.
Yeah, and so we really need to put up prayer for the pestilence and all of the things that
Yeah, so it doesn't fly over here, you guys, on
I
airplanes.
mean, unfortunately, this is what's coming to the world very shortly. Post rapture will be terrible pestilence. Anyway, we're just seeing the precursor of it in pockets around the world. Okay, well, everybody has heard about the execution style assassination of the United Healthcare executive. And I don't know what I think of all that. It was the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The reports are CEOs of companies all over the place are starting to be concerned about their security. Have you read this, Dina?
Yes, they've been taking their executives or C-level executives off of their websites, their pictures.
Yeah. And also, they have arrested someone, but again, I question a lot of what's going on because I saw pictures of who they thought was the individual that had done it. And then we saw other pictures, and these pictures are not the same. So it's very strange, right, Dina?
Yeah, I'm still out to lunch on that. No, I shouldn't say out to lunch. I looked at the pictures, and I actually saw a video of the guy that they arrested. They say that they found all of these materials on him and evidence, they call it. And I heard him screaming about something about the American people need to know, something to that effect. And if the audience, you guys are listening and have been watching this story, you would have seen that too, I'm sure. He was cut very short. It was while the police were taking him into custody, and he was screaming, the American people need to know, something to that effect. What does the American people need to know? I
Hmm.
want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Is this the guy? I don't know. I think in time we're going to find out. And the guy is from a very prestigious family, from what I understand. Like
Right.
he
Well,
a valid Victorian. Like this guy is like super smart. He went to college. I think he's got his master's degree. What would make somebody turn like that? I mean, it's kind of creepy, because
mhm.
I mean, what do you think, Susan?
Well, I saw a couple pictures and they're two different color backpacks. One jacket had pockets and the other jacket did not. The first individual with the mask had a thin nose and the other individual had a wider nose. The jacket that he was wearing had like little knots on his hoodie, and the other guy had these little plastic things at the end of his hoodie strings. I mean, they're just, I know it sounds kind of like what's wrong with this picture, but I mean,
We're doing our own detective work over here at
I
Jesus.
don't know, there were just some major discrepancies on the two pictures. I'm like, what are they doing? This is so strange, but okay. I don't know. I Who knows what this is about. I It's just very strange stuff. It's terrible. The whole thing is strange and terrible at the same time. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a look at some other things that aren't being covered. I know that story right there is like covered to the max. But there's things that are wildly more significant in a way because of the number of people affected that are totally being ignored. And one of them here is a devastating landslide destroyed a parking lot amid severe flooding in Thailand. And we continue to see these landslides everywhere, all over the planet. And we're going to keep talking about it because it seems nobody else is talking about it. We did have a sinkhole form in the road and disrupt traffic in China. So, again, these are popping up all over the place. I mean, this was in Heikou, Hainan, over in China. Okay, now again, we've talked about these tremendous floods in Thailand, but here's something that they've got going on over there. We've talked about this in the past. When it comes to places like Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia that are all experiencing massive flooding and everything else, one of the things that they have problems with are snakes, Dina, out there in the water.
Ew, I don't even
Okay.
like the little garden snakes.
So in Thailand during a flood, they caught soldiers caught a 13-foot python, and it was coming out of a drain, and it got caught in the grills, and they were trying to get it out of there. And I mean,
That thing
it's like
was huge. That
13.
thing was wide, I should say.
Yeah.
It was a fat one.
Yeah, this is 13 feet. Okay. And it's saying that, this is some of the worst flooding to hit southern Thailand in decades. Okay. Did you hear that? Decades. But one of the things that they have is the problem with these reticulated pythons that can be found throughout Southeast Asia, where they live in forests, swamps, canals, even cities, and they come into conflict with humans. Now, I did a little math because there was another python they found, and it was 59 miles away from this 13-foot one. And it was a 19.6-foot python that they caught floating on a flooded road. This was 59 miles away. So, if you know, like down in Florida, they've got a problem with the pythons now, okay, in the Everglades.
They've had
And
that problem for like the last year or so.
oh, longer than that, like 5 years. But the problem is they've taken over. They're now the top of the food chain. And here's the deal. They just mass produce. And then they don't have anything that can take them out because they take out the alligators down there.
Hmm.
The pythons eat the alligator babies and they can't come up to maturity. So I'm sure this is the kind of thing we've got going on in some of these tropical regions. Like we're reading about these jungle areas that are being flooded. They probably have pythons in mass, okay, over there. That's my impression. And I can't think of anything worse than like being out there in that water, knowing that these things are lurking all around. I'm sorry. This is just like a nightmare. It really is. Okay, we're going to switch gears, but this is really something. There was a lake that disappeared in the 19th century, but it's making a comeback. It's decided to come back with a bang. It gained the name California Ghost Lake, and it is swallowing up acres and acres of farmland. Can you believe this? And this is in California.
Creepy.
It's, pardon me?
Creepy.
I know. It has re-emerged after 130 years, covering thousands of acres of farmland. Again, we've lost thousands of acres of farmland. This is
Something
definitely,
biblical is happening.
yeah, there you are. Okay, we had ground collapse in China's tech hub, Shenzhen, leaving 13 railway workers missing. The ground collapsed a section of the highway road, and these 13 people just end up missing. So we're seeing this all over the place. West Java, Indonesia, suffered huge landslides. Heavy landslides got triggered, collapsing houses, burying families inside their homes, just 10 dead, 2 missing. It swept through hilly villages on Java Island. And if you go over to our End Times landslide page on Facebook, we're posting a link to a YouTube with a compilation of video about the landslides taking over Indonesia. And it is utterly shocking. It's some of the most shocking footage that I have seen. But I'm telling you, the mountains are coming down right now around us. It's shocking, but maybe not quite as shocking as the fact that we just had a 7.0 in Northern California, which spurred a tsunami warning. But then, there was no threat of tsunami after all. It was a shallow 6.2-mile depth. The epicenter was located 57 miles west of Petrolia, 62 miles west of Ferndale, and 67 miles west of Fortuna. California. Now, I want to tell you where this fault is, Dina, just in case people are wondering, because 7.0, this is huge. Okay. A lot of activity with this.
Well, and it was also the tsunami could have hit on my side of town. Not
Yeah,
my side of
right.
town, but
Definitely.
Oregon coast.
Yes, this is true. But it was on the Mendocino Fault. And for anybody who doesn't know what that is, because we all hear about the San Andreas Fault and we hear about the Cascadian subduction zone, and we know that they're connected, but this fault connects those two to each other. So this 7.0 hit on that fault that connects the San Andreas Fault to the Cascadian subduction zone. And for anybody who doesn't know what these things are, well, the San Andreas Fault runs down through California, and the Cascadian subduction zone goes up towards through Washington, the state of Washington, and actually runs right through Seattle, I'm pretty sure. Isn't that correct?
I believe so.
Which is
I'm an
kind of,
expert, but I think so.
well, okay. Who builds a city that size on a fault line? I have to ask myself this
No
question.
one's smart, you know?
I think it's all the people that decided they didn't want to live by a volcano, they would start a city on a fault line. Okay, I don't know. It's just one of those things that you don't
Because,
understand.
Susan, they don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime.
I suppose not, but still, even I don't know. I wouldn't take that kind of chance, but okay. Anyway, well, that's where this thing hit. And that's kind of a big deal because people are saying that that could definitely be a sudden destruction event. And now it's starting to look like, yeah, definitely a possibility. All right, we had severe storms hit Malawi, 11 dead, thousands displaced. There's that number again. 80 injured. Okay, wow. Okay, are you ready? 50,000 were affected as severe storms swept over Malawi over the past couple weeks. So this report just came
There you
through.
go. Tens of thousands, you guys.
Right. Over 10,833 households, approximately 48,748 individuals were affected, leading to extensive displacement. And most suffered harm due to lightning strikes and structural collapses among those injured. Okay, so I mean, we've got a little bit of everything going on, right? I mean, this is unbelievable.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so this area that I just mentioned, they had hail, rainfall, lightning, and widespread destruction, 50,000 displaced. I mean, this is unreal. It's just unreal. We had houses collapse due to flooding in Sukabumi, Indonesia. So lots of Indonesia's in trouble. Oh, severe weather affecting Haiti, Grand Annie's department between November 30 and December 2nd, claiming 3 people and 15 injured. So lots of floodwaters there. We're talking 80% of land area in that region. That's a lot of flooding. Okay.
Yes, it is. That's the days of Noah right there.
Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting it. Oh, this is really something to sit up and pay attention. India had at least 1,075 people killed due to lightning strikes during the last 3 years in Odisha. This here in India. I mean, you can't believe this is going on. They're saying the highest number of 81 deaths due to lightning strikes between 22 and 24 took place in Balasore district, Ganjam district, and also the data presented by the minister in the House revealed that lightning strikes claimed 306 lives during 22-23 and 272 during 23-24. 201 deaths have been confirmed during the current financial year so far. You just can't believe these people are dying of lightning strikes.
I know
That's
that's like a
incredible.
fluke thing.
Yeah, I mean, who ever heard of such a thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we had a strong earthquake register in 6.3 in the Andrean of Islands in Alaska. I mean, everybody's jumping into the fray here as far as what's going on, okay? I can't keep up with it. It's just so busy. Okay, we have volcanic ash produce an eruption which rose 15,700 feet above the peak. And this took place in Dukono, volcano, okay, in Indonesia. Okay, like these people don't have enough going on. Now they've got a 15,000 foot volcano going off. And oh, they actually had it reach 20,000 feet. I think I'd be looking for another place to move to in Indonesia. It's just too much going on there. They've got floods, landslides, and now a volcano. But Taiwan logged record seismic activity with 42 quakes surpassing 5.5 magnitude. That's a lot of stuff right there.
Oh, yeah.
I
Horrible.
know. That is really busy. Okay, I just want to do a quickie review of our hurricane season that we experienced. Hurricane Francine, as you recall, rapidly intensified into a category 2 hurricane with 100-mile-per-hour winds. This took place this year, resulting in $1.5 billion in damages. Storm Boris reached wind speeds of 75 mile per hour with rainfall up to 14 inches in Central and Eastern Europe, making it one of the worst flooding events in the region in decades. Then we had Hurricane John make landfall in southwestern Mexico as a powerful Cat 3 hurricane with 120-mile-per-hour winds, up to 20 inches of rain, caused severe flooding and widespread devastation, submerging homes and infrastructure. At least 22 dead, affected 730,000 families, making it one of the most destructive hurricanes to hit the region in recent years. Typhoon Yagi became the most powerful and destructive storm to hit East and Southeast Asia in recent years, with 160-mile-per-hour winds, rains, torrential rains, floods, high winds, widespread devastation, resulted in 830 deaths, 2,270 injuries, and 131 missing people. The impact of the storm was especially severe in Vietnam and Myanmar, where it caused significant and widespread damage to infrastructure, farmland, roads, and networks. Okay, then we got Hurricane Helene hit landfall near Horseshoe Beach, Florida, with 120-mile-per-hour winds, brought damage all through Florida. The storm surge caused extensive coastal flooding, went all the way up into the southern Appalachians, at least 230 fatalities so far. Well, I think it's more than that. But it hit Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. The devastation in North Carolina is unprecedented, with estimates up to 1,000 deaths, as hundreds of people are still missing. Water levels were reported to have reached roofs of homes, and the people are decimated there. Economic losses substantial, billions of dollars in damages. Okay. And so these are the things that took place. And I want to mention the Philippines because it's not in that report. Philippines had 6 hurricanes in November and was followed by a 7th storm that came through with more water. So we're talking 7 major storms hitting the Philippines in one single month. I mean, where have we ever seen this kind of thing before, Dina?
We haven't. That's astronomical.
Now, we have also seen extraordinary footage from Northern Ireland showing waterfall running backwards after powerful winds from Storm Darragh force it to reverse its flow. Okay, have you ever heard of anything like this before?
No, this is biblical stuff that we're hearing. That's the only answer for this.
Okay, the winds were so powerful during the storm in Northern Ireland that the waterfall was running backwards up from where it was coming down.
That's not normal.
No,
That is not
nothing,
normal.
nothing is normal now. Okay. All right. We did have a 5.5 earthquake rattle Nevada all the way over to California. They felt it. Okay. This just in. And we had an earthquake swarm southwest of Adak Islands in Alaska. And it included multiple significant earthquakes, including a 6.3, a 6.1, with aftershocks up to 5.8. That's a lot of stuff. Now, I mentioned Philippines a minute ago, and I was talking about the hurricanes that they endured. But I want to talk about the fact that they had a volcano shoot a giant pillar of ash into the sky. And this just in, the ash went 2 miles into the air, and it's the second eruption for this volcano this year. So unbelievable. Multiple flood warnings have been issued for River Severn, and the levels rose to 19 feet, 18 inches, and this took place in Wales, of all places. So they're having floods over there as well in that area. So they're not immune to what's going on. I just mentioned that Philippines, the volcano in Philippines, which was the Canlaon. I didn't say what it was. It was the Canlaon volcano. But Dina, look at this. 87,000 people living near the volcano have had to be evacuated.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah,
Those
because it's
poor people.
producing.
They lost their homes.
This is in preparation for the situation because it is erupting like 2 miles into the air, like I said. And so they have moved 87,000 people out of their homes living in the area. You
Wow.
just can't believe this is happening. Okay. Now, I've got a couple stories I want to hit before we close, just to give you a feel for the end times that we're in. And I've mentioned some weather issues that Haiti has, but I got to tell you, there's some really bad stuff going on in the area of Haiti. Well, first of all, they no longer really have an infrastructure government there. Their government officials have left because the gangs have, basically taken over. And so scores have been killed in Haiti by the orders of the gang leader there. And he has recently ordered a massacre of the elderly. Okay. You just can't believe this is going on. But as of this report, this past weekend, at least 184 people were killed in violence orchestrated by the leader of a powerful gang in the Haitian capital of Port-au-Prince. Okay, these latest killings bring the death toll just this year in Haiti to a staggering 5,000 people. All
Oh,
right,
that's a lot of
you
people. That's a lot of
cannot believe it.
souls.
All right. And so this gang leader sought advice from a voodoo priest who told him elderly people in the area had harmed his child, who just died this weekend, leading to members of his gang killing at least 100 people this weekend with machetes and knives. And I guess all the victims of the attack were over 60 years old because they were lied to, or probably lied to by this voodoo priest, of course, about putting voodoo on his child so that the child would die. Well, okay, so there are hundreds of police who've come in from Kenya who were sent to help reassert law and order. But even with that, they have now stopped flights going in and out of Haiti because of the chaos and the bloodshed. Okay, I've talked about this in the past and I'm bringing it up again, that Haiti made a pact with the devil a couple centuries ago. It's a fact. It's a total fact. And so I want to give the history on this for anybody who doesn't know this. It was August 14, 1791. A group of Hugans, voodoo priests, led by a former slave named Boukman, made a pact with the devil at a place called Bois Cayman. All present vowed to exterminate all the white Frenchmen on the island. They sacrificed a black pig in a voodoo ritual at which hundreds of slaves drank the pig's blood. This event is a voodoo ceremony that launched the Haitian Revolution that was between 1791 to up to 1803. Now, I mean, your first knee-jerk reaction is, wow, that is just unbelievable. But I mean, I really believe that Haiti is cursed. I'm not kidding. A couple years back, they had a hurricane come through, and the eye of the hurricane you could see on the radar was right over Port-au-Prince where it hit. On the radar, it literally looked like the face of a demon. And even everybody was talking about it. This was national news. But, Dina, I mean, as bad as all that sounds, the Frenchmen on the island were doing horrible things to the slaves, which triggered them to do this. So, I mean, nobody gets off on this deal. Everything was evil, the cause of it and then the result of it. But again, fighting evil with evil, nothing will come of that. And we can see this in this example of Haiti. And now all these Haitians are suffering. This is just an example of how evil can get. I mean, we have an enemy, and there's no limit to, the imagination of evil. But we had this other story come in. I can't even believe it. This comes in from United Kingdom. It's saying terminally ill pensioners could end their lives early to spare loved ones six-figure tax bills under assisted dying legislation, experts have warned. So under current rules, pensions are passed on free income tax if the person dies before 75. And so if the assisted dying becomes legal, it could leave someone close to the age with an agonizing choice between prolonging their life or saving their family hundreds or thousands of dollars in inheritance taxes. I mean, you can't believe these things are going on. It's just so evil. But if we just stand back and look at the information that we're giving out here week after week after week, it's just phenomenal. This kind of thing that I'm telling you and that Dina and I are talking about week after week, this is not normal. I'm telling you, these are the signs. The Lord said to be watching for the signs, and they are here. And so you need to listen to this, and what you need to do is to think about where you stand with Jesus Christ. He is sending all the signs. And since we're in birth pains, this is not going to slow down until the baby is born. What is that baby? The baby is the coming of the Lord for the church to be removed and to also start the tribulation. And so all of this is about to come to pass. It's really happening before us. If all of this seems kind of confusing, we do have a program. It's a line by line study of Revelation, and we cover all 22 chapters. It's absolutely free. We do not benefit financially from any of this. We just want you to know what's going on. And so it's called Revelation for Beginners. You don't have to know anything about Revelation. You just join in and watch the program. And as far as these programs go, please share this. If you want to see the stories, just go on over to some of our many pages, including End Times News Report on Facebook, where we put these articles and others in their fullness. You can check that out. So I'm out of time, and Dina, we're out of time. But we have to talk faster. I don't know what to do, right?
I know there's so much to talk about, but Susan, we so appreciate you. Thank you so much for bringing all these headlines. Thank you to the audience for tuning in. We love you so much. And if you're looking for these videos, you can find them on Susan's YouTube channel, Marriage Supper of the Lamb Ministries. You can find them on my channel, Dina Amelia Kalmeta. We're also on BitChute and Rumble as Jesus 24/7, and we also have a podcast on Google, Apple, and Spotify. Come over and visit us on X as well as Facebook as Jesus 24/7. We're over there. We always post our videos on Saturdays. It's a rare occurrence if we don't post it on Saturday, but usually you're going to find us on Saturdays. We're pretty regular. And I know that some of you have left comments that you have not got notifications. We can't control YouTube, you guys. I mean, they shadow ban. That's why it's important to, come on over to the channel on Saturdays, look on our Facebook, subscribe to Facebook, subscribe to X, go to Susan's channel, go to my channel, go to Rumble, go to BitChute. You're going to find us. I promise you, if you subscribe to all of those. I know that Rumble is very good. In fact, I know this for a fact because I post our videos there and I will get a notification. I will get other people's notifications from Rumble and BitChute like clockwork. So make sure that you're over there too, not just on YouTube. We would like to be in one place, but it's good to branch out. So just subscribe, wherever you're at. You should be able to get a notification, except for YouTube, unfortunately. Leave a comment. We want to hear from you guys. We love hearing from you. If you need prayer, let us know. We'll pray for you. Susan, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Right. I just want to mention our website, End Time Prophecy Catalog. We've got a ton of information over there. We've got free books. We've got lots of videos on things like intimacy with God. We also have articles that we post every week. We put up articles on the main page. So please head over there, and we'd love to continue to see your comments. We read them. We love you guys. And please help us get these messages out because time is running out, obviously. And we need to get everybody focused on the Lord. We just absolutely must. And thanks to you, Dina, for all you do. And God bless everybody.
Hey, thanks again, Susan, and thank you to the audience. Have a blessed weekend, everybody, and a great week ahead. God bless you and stay safe.